All right, so today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, but before we do so, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the notification button so you can be alerted about whenever we post new TA on our YouTube channel. And also please make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Ali_charts, and you can follow my co-host at Cash at Market with a 0 at the end. So yeah, let's evaluate Bitcoin price action. I mean, over the past few days, just continues going up without looking back. It seems to be doing exactly what we were anticipating on Tuesday when we last came with our technical analysis and on-chain metrics analysis, right? But as of right now, based on what I'm seeing, based on the in and out of the monetary price model, it doesn't seem like Bitcoin has any significant resistance ahead. The most significant level of resistance is the one that is currently trying to break, right? That sits between $57,350 and $58,500. Around this price level, basically 560,000 addresses, but around 180,000 Bitcoin. So that level right there is providing a significant resistance, because it is very likely that those addresses that have been underwater on the long positions right here are right now trying to break even. So as Bitcoin starts to advance further, right? I mean, they're trying to contain the price action because they're literally selling, right? But as long as that little selling pressure there is basically over, I don't see how Bitcoin cannot just continue advancing further, maybe to new all-time highs, given the low resistance ahead. Now, when we look at the levels of support, right? The most significant one sits between $55,500 and $57,200, right? So as long as this level of support continues to hold, the odds will continue to favor the bulls, right? I mean, basically, if this support level was to break, then it is very likely that Bitcoin will go down for a small correction, maybe towards something like 53,000 or even 50,000 before the uptrend continues, right? But if this 55,500 level continues holding, I don't see why we could be leaning bearish on Bitcoin, right? The on-chain metrics also favor the bulls and the optimistic outlook, because as you guys can see, the amount of stable coins on exchanges continues rising. I mean, basically we had like this little correction right here and in the stable coin supply ratio, where it went from basically 10.95 all the way down to 10.7, but as of right now, it's back above at a higher high, basically at 10.99. So what that tells you is that the buying pressure and the USD available on exchanges for people to buy more cryptocurrency is increasing. So that's a really good sign of bullish price action to come. The same goes with the next supply. I mean, all the exchange net flows in all the Bitcoin exchange net flow, right? As of right now, I mean, we don't see anything in the last few hours that will tell us that people are trying to take profit or anything like that, which is a really good sign. Now, in terms of network activity and the amount of interest that is coming into Bitcoin, I mean, the number of new addresses joining the network just continues rising, even though it dropped towards a low of 346,000 new addresses created on the network on October 10th. Is actually represents a higher high than the previous, a higher low, sorry, than the previous low of 342,000 that was made basically on September 29th, right? So as of right now, I expect this metric to make a higher high, maybe above 500,000 addresses created on the network per day, which will just further confirm the bullish thesis that I'm seeing right now. In terms of the behavior from whales, what I can see is that yeah, I mean, we'll just continue buying. Just since October 12th, right? Just in the last 2 days, they basically added roughly 20,000 Bitcoin to their holdings, especially the wells, that have anything between 100 and 20,000, tokens. So that significant spike in buying pressure in there, could contribute to further upward price action. So yeah, once again, once Bitcoin is able to just break above this considerable resistance level right here that sits at an average price of 58,000. I don't see why it could not go to just new all-time highs, right? I mean, any sign of weakness will basically, be confirmed if Bitcoin were to close below 55,500, which may, lead to a spike in profit taken that could potentially see Bitcoin dive towards 53,000 and maybe like $50,000. But yeah, so for right now, basically all the on-chain metrics and the network activity seems to point to more upside in the near-term future. I don't know if you, Akash, are looking at something different from a technical perspective.
No, pretty much I'm bullish as well, but let me just share my screen. Right, so like the last time we discussed, I spoke about two levels, which is somewhere 55, 58K and 60K is like really important. So as long as Bitcoin stays above 55, I think that there are good chances of Bitcoin going to its all-time high. But the only thing that's going to stop it is the 6,000 psychological level, right? So not quite sure how it's going to react to it, because if you remember, 10K was like a major hurdle, like Bitcoin teetered around that level for a very long time, right? So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I'm leaning towards it not happening because right now the on-chain metrics show that there's not a lot of resistance around here. So once we clear 59K, Bitcoin's in the clear. I think it's going to launch to its all-time high, right? But I do have to explore the downside, the bearish possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's better to be prepared for it, right? So as you can see from the on-chain metrics, right, the major support level, the first major support level is at 55,700, and the next one comes around 50,000, right? But for me, right, I think this level will play a crucial role, which is roughly $53,000, right? So I think we might get a pullback down to this level if 55 fails. But other than that, I don't see it going any lower right now, right? So even with the threat of the ETF being disapproved, I think Bitcoin is still in a good place right now because unlike the last time, probably in 2017, the market is much more mature and the liquidity has improved quite a lot. So we're not reliant on external factors to pump the price. So I think this time around, even if the ETF is a bad news or dead end, I think Bitcoin is still going to handle it pretty well, and it's going to stay above $50,000 to $53,000 level. So this is the only thing that I have to say from a technical perspective. And I also do want to point out from an on-chain perspective, from an on-chain perspective, the 365-day MVRV is like at an interesting level right now. As you can see, it's at 36.8%, which means that 36.8% of the investors that bought Bitcoin over the past year are now in profit. Usually this would be a really high number and I would expect a correction. But if you look at what happened before the start of the bull run, right, Bitcoin was constantly hovering about this level for a while. And once it broke above it, it like kind of grappled around with that level for a while and then finally took off, right? This is when the bull run actually like kick-started. And I see something similar happening right now. Like you see, it came around here, like there was a lot of resistance around here, and then we went down, similar to what happened here, and then finally we went above it. So I think something like that is also happening here, and it's also quite visible. At least I'm seeing a similar kind of action that's happening here on the 30-day MVRV as well. So I am bullish, but I'm cautiously optimistic on the correction that may happen. So yeah, that's about it, right? And if we break the all-time high at 64,895, I think the next level to look out for is 77,500 or somewhere along the range of 75,000.
Yeah, that sounds very well. I mean, it seems like the technicals kind of like coincide with the fundamentals, where there is a lot of pressure on the 55,500 support level, because a break of that could potentially lead to a downswing towards 53,000 or even 50K, right? Which will be a buy zone for the bulls and for all of those who haven't jumped on the bullish bandwagon yet. But I mean, from an on-chain perspective, like everything seems to be looking really bullish right now, and it does seem like Bitcoin is heading towards new all-time highs. Based on what Akash is saying right here, it does seem like a potential psychological level of resistance could be around $80,000, which of course, right? I mean, you will not want to put your, let's say, your take profit orders at $80,000, because that's probably where everybody is doing that, right? So if you were to place it around $77,500, I mean, that's a good area to take some profits, right? But of course, I mean, once Bitcoin enters price discovery mode, it just tends to go bananas. So yeah, so as of right now, once again, the odds seems to be favoring the bulls. But you know, you will look for any signs of weakness in a potential close or daily close below 55,500, which could potentially lead to a downswing towards 53 or even 50K. But as long as, you know, from an on-chain perspective as well, right? If $58,000 is basically breaks, right? 58,500 daily close above that area of resistance right there, then we could see Bitcoin retest the previous all-time high from mid-April of $65,000, and if that level breaks, then we could potentially see it rise towards 77,000 or even $80,000. But yeah, that's basically our take on Bitcoin. And if you like this TA, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Twitter.